Hi, I'm Sunil Yu, creator of the Cyber Defense Matrix. The endpoint is often seen as the front line against many cybersecurity threats. To help manage and secure the endpoint, AWS Marketplace provides many cloud-native endpoint security tools. On the preventative side, AWS Marketplace has a wide range of independent software vendors who provide endpoint protection capabilities, including having an up-to-date device inventory, enforcing configuration compliance, finding and managing vulnerabilities, and preventing malware from taking root on the endpoint. But prevention is never perfect, so it's important to consider capabilities that give you real-time and historical visibility to quickly detect, respond to, and recover from endpoint incidents. Tools in the category of endpoint detection and response, or EDR, help detect unauthorized activities, conduct forensic-level analysis, and facilitate incident response activities to purge intrusions. When combined with the right threat intelligence, these tools can also help you hunt efficiently on your endpoint. Keep in mind that EDR tools don't run on their own, and you need capable administration that can put the tools to use to hunt and to accelerate investigations into security events.
Incident response is an organized approach to addressing and managing the threat or violation of security policies and standard practices. A quick response limits damage and reduces recovery time and costs. In the cloud, you need a systematic and organized approach. This includes detective and responsive controls to help you with prevention and to learn from previous incidents. Detective controls provide visibility and transparency over the operation of your AWS deployments. Responsive controls drive remediation of potential deviations from your security baseline. How can AWS help? We have Amazon CloudTrail, S3 Access, and VPC flow logs to track event history. Amazon Detective to investigate and determine root causes. And monitors such as Amazon Guard Duty, Macy, IAM Access Analyzer, Inspector, and Security Hub. In addition, Amazon Route 53 helps monitor health checks, and CloudWatch monitors for event alarms. You can even use Windows Events, Linux syslogs, and other application-specific log generation. These are just a few ways AWS is partnering with you to enable strong incident response. To learn more, go to aws.amazon.com/security.
I'm from Singapore.
From Vietnam.
AWS User Group Thailand.
I'm an AWS Community Builder.
I run the user group in Singapore as a community hero.
I'm an AWS community builder.
I love AWS community.
Go AWS. I'm so proud that all the group members are very proactive to support each other.
I'm really passionate about making artificial intelligence and machine learning more accessible.
I'm also one of the AWS machine learning heroes around the world.
It's a global, positive and diverse community.
ผมเป็น Amazon Web Service Community Hero ประจำประเทศไทยนะครับ
The love of the technology and the friendship in the community.
Go AWS.
You've earned an AWS certification. Congratulations. Now what? Show your employer, colleagues, and your customers that you've met the bar set by AWS experts. Add your digital badge to your professional profiles and email signature to highlight your skills. Share it on your social feeds to celebrate with your network. and offer verification via email or on your resume. Cloud skills are in demand, and you have them. Share your AWS certified achievement today.
Good evening and happy Friday, everyone. We are now live and welcome to the 4th episode of the Siklab Igniter series, co-presented by Edukasyon.ph and AWS Siklab Pilipinas. I am Atcha Abe, an AWS Siklab influencer and the technical community manager of Edukasyon.ph, and I will be your host for tonight. To introduce what Edukasyon.ph is an AWS Siklab, I will be sharing my screen right here. And let's wait for it. So Edukasyon.ph is the leading edtech platform in the Philippines, empowering millions of Gen Z students aged 13 to 24 to make self-aware education decisions that lead to a fulfilling career and life. Edukasyon.ph has worked with hundreds of partners, schools, corporations, and foundations to enable them to reach and engage with its student community along the journey from education to career. And with that, I would also like to introduce AWS Siklab Pilipinas. AWS Siklab Pilipinas uplifts fellow developers and professionals in the Philippines. We'll be sharing the next slide with industry leaders all over the world, sharing their expertise in the field. And I'm very happy to join the AWS Influencer Program with the goal of helping students, young professionals, career shifters explore their opportunities in the cloud through the Siklab Igniter series. And I appreciate everyone taking their time today on a Friday to join us today. So I know most of you are interested to learn about cybersecurity. And let's not forget to invite our friends and colleagues to join us for free by tagging them in the comments below, sharing the Zoom link. We have pinned the Zoom link in our Facebook Live. You can also let them come in our Zoom room. So if you have any questions for our speaker tonight, you can freely put them in the chat. Ayan. So right now we're around 50 live participants in our Zoom and around 7 in Facebook. So before we begin and introduce our speaker, just keep on tagging your friends, sharing the news that we're now live, and you can go ahead and share our live stream as well so that we can share this free opportunity to people who are very interested in tech, especially in cybersecurity today. We have here, so while we're waiting for you to share this free event, I'll be reading the comments. So we have here Maximus Alvarado. He says, good afternoon. Hi, Maximus. We have here Jonathan Santiago. Hi, everyone from Baliwag University. So let us know that you are here by introducing yourself in the comment section by saying your name, your profession, what company or school you represent. I'll read them. Don't worry about that. And let us know if you have been an active participant in our Community Ignite series, or you've been with us also with the Siklab Igniter series. So let us know in the comments below. Ayan. So again, we're also live in Facebook. And if you're watching on Facebook and if you're still not in our Zoom room, you can go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment. Ayan, and again, don't forget to tag your friends and share this live so we can help more people learn from our very own industry leaders. So Maximus says he is a second-year BSID student from the Technological Institute of the Philippines. We have here Angelica May Gerlan, a fourth-year BSID student from Pateros Technological College. We have Divine, a fourth-year BS Computer Engineering student from AMA CC Cabanatuan. We have Carl Velarde, a second-year college ID student from Technological Institute of the Philippines. We have here Alistair. He says, Merry Christmas. Ang aga naman ng Pasko nga pala dyan sa Pilipinas. So yan. We have here Justin. Hello, everyone. I'm Justin Gutierrez, Information Technology student from Negros Oriental State University. We have a lot of college students in our room for tonight. And if you are a professional, also let us know if you're a developer, career shifter. Ayan, wag kayong mahiya. And we have here Geraldson Casco, a second-year student from Technological Institute of the Philippines, QC. We have here Karina Georges, an ethical hacking student. Wow, that's good. Third year in Alberta University, Scotland. Oh, you're from Scotland. Wow. So does it mean we have international viewers? I believe I need to speak English the whole time because we have viewers from different parts of the world. Right now it's 1 a.m. here where I'm at. I am based in San Diego, California, USA. So if you're also watching from other side of the globe, let us know by commenting it down below. I appreciate your time. Ayan, so just keep on commenting and I'll read them while we're waiting for more people to join our Zoom room. Okay. We have here CJ, freshman student from University of the Cordillera, returning CS attendee. Ganda na po ng CSAT form, by the way. Thank you. We have here Ederly Rose, a third-year computer engineering student at PUP Santa Mesa. And we have Alan Giangan, if I am pronouncing that right, from TIPQC, currently a fourth-year BSIT student. All right, guys, keep those comments coming. Let us know that you're here, you're watching with us. Again, don't forget to invite your friends and share this free event so we can help more people learn about cybersecurity today. All right, don't worry, I'll be reading them later on and giving you a shout out, but I know you're more interested to meet our speaker for today. So with that, our topic today is learning cybersecurity as a woman in tech. And me personally, that's why I'm very happy that we have been inviting professionals to share their knowledge and expertise about cybersecurity. Because I started working in the industry as a student. And when I was in third year college, that's the time when I was highly interested in cybersecurity. When we had our information security subjects, I was having a hard time, but I didn't realize that those challenges, those complicated lectures that we have is really interesting to learn about how technology works in the field of information security. And as of the moment, even though I'm working in tech and also doing community management, I'm still more interested to teach and also learn and have a profession in the future that leads to cybersecurity. So yeah, that's why I'm happy that we have our speaker today to share her experience in the field of cybersecurity, especially as a woman in tech. So it's really interesting. And yeah, without further ado, I will be introducing our speaker for tonight. Ayan. Okay, so our speaker is a solutions architect that specializes in security at Amazon Web Services. She is currently based in the Philippines, and as an AWS solutions architect, she helps customers in their cloud journey and provides them with guidance, best practices, and conducts security interviews, workshops, and consultations. Aside from security, she is adept in release management, continuous integration and delivery, and in building microservices applications. So let's give our warm virtual welcome to Ms. Damselle Acosta. Hi, Ms. Damselle.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see a lot of students tonight. Thank you for spending your Friday evening with us. Okay.
Right.
I promise tonight's session it won't be really very serious. It's more like a chill vibes of kind of question and answer. Like I have here a set of questions that I want to share with you, and I'll be answering in relation to career paths, how I ended up in security, from being a IT staff, going through developer, right, and now being a solutions architect at AWS. So we'll be discussing all of those. So if you have any further if you have any questions in mind regarding maybe security trends, or you also want to move to cybersecurity, so let us know. So maybe I can give you my 2 cents or my thoughts on how we could achieve that. Okay, so let me just quickly share my screen. Here. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, Great. So even though our topic for tonight is about learning cybersecurity as a woman in tech, so it's okay. Is my advice is general regardless of your gender. So don't be afraid na baka this is only for women in tech. So it's mostly a conversation about career and then challenges that I have gone through and have also been through, right? And some advice that I can give you, especially sa mga students natin. So first, I would say topic would be gender diversity in tech. So it's not very surprising naman that there is a challenge that we need to solve, specifically yung gender diversity natin in tech, right? Most specifically in cybersecurity. Kasi in tech in general, right? We're seeing well, right now it's good that we're seeing a lot of women getting into technology already. Now we need to also increase that footprint in the cybersecurity world, right? But before or even in the previous years, right? So before tech courses or tech in general has a stereotype drive wherein before, if you think about taking up IT, taking up computer science, most of them are for male, right? You're not really that encouraged to take it up unless you have a passion, right? Passion for technology, passion for computer. So that's the only time when people or students really pursue tech. But right now, as we know, with the ongoing digitalization, a lot of us are adopting or moving to the digital space. So there's a lot of movements right now in tech. So I'm happy that a lot of companies are really advocating for gender diversity in tech, right? So that includes also Amazon. So Amazon is a very has been championing diversity, gender diversity for quite some time now. So I'm glad that a lot of companies are tackling this issue, which is gender diversity in tech, right? So the next one is, what does being a woman in cybersecurity mean for me? Well, being a woman in cybersecurity space, it means that there are a lot of opportunities for me. Although at the same time, there are also a lot of challenges, right? Opportunities because, as you know, when the pandemic has started, everything or everyone has been moving to the digital space. Before, as you can see, not a lot of companies have a very mature footprint in the digital world. Now everyone has a mobile app, everyone now has a web app, payments are now have gone digital, banks have now gone digital banking, right? And you know that everybody has Facebook, has TikTok, YouTube, right? So we're all familiar with that. And along with that, of course, you can never deny that the threat landscape is also evolving, right? Before, it's very seldom that we see some phishing, some email scams, right? But with the recent pandemic, right, every day you receive texts from, you receive phishing texts, right? You receive phishing texts. There's a lot of people out there who's trying to scam you, right? And this is why cybersecurity awareness is really important. Not just for us in tech, right? Even to your parents, to your siblings, because most of the time, the people that needs awareness are those that like our parents, right? They're not that well versed that, you know, receiving this text, this is not true, this is a scam, right? So we need to guide them, right? It doesn't mean that, you know, cybersecurity is so techy. Sometimes it's the most basic things. It's the most basic things like making sure that your password is not 123, right? It's something more complex than that. It's hard to guess, right? So some those little things that we try to spread, like our awareness, right, can be a big thing already for a lot of people. So yeah, the threat landscape is expanding faster than ever. We see a lot of modus happening left and right. So it's really important for cybersecurity right now. Also, there's a lot of opportunities for innovation as well. I believe there's a lot of innovation going on with mobile development, even game tech, right? We're seeing traction in there. So even in cybersecurity, before most of the things are being done manually. Right now, people are starting to move in automation, right? So even in cybersecurity, that doesn't mean that you can escape automation. So that's the way that we're moving towards, because we cannot keep up always with these threats if we're going to do them manually and staying out of date, right? So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for not just for women, right? For everyone in cybersecurity. And actually there's a huge gap right now in terms of skills or hiring, right? With this large number of threats, hiring and retaining cybersecurity specialists as well as compliance specialists is really hard. It's a difficult challenge that the industry is facing right now. So yeah, there's a lot of growth that you can see in here, and it's very exciting. Yeah, I don't know, but for me, cybersecurity is really exciting. Think of it as, if you're working in cybersecurity, think of it as you're like the police or the detective in the cyber world, right? If we have policemen, if we have detectives in the real world, right, that trying to enforce certain laws, right, to make our country or the world secure, right? So it's the same for cybersecurity. You're keeping the cyberspace secure. Okay. Next is, what was my career path? So my career path, actually, I started out, back in college, my course was computer science. We didn't have any, like, I don't know what call it, minor or major, but
Yes,
it's
major.
just computer science. Yeah. Right now, you can see you can specialize now in mobile development, like programming or whatnot. So those are your students right now are very lucky, because you get to talk about these things already. Because back in the day, computer science, that's it. IT, that's it. Right? There's no subdomain under our course. So it's just we just get to talk about certain topics little by little, and then we don't really deep dive into it. We just talk about database for a little while, and then networking, but we don't really deep dive into it. And when I got out of college, I was really overwhelmed with the number of opportunities, roles, positions, job positions that I'm seeing. Before, I thought it was like once I graduate, the path that I'm taking on is just being a programmer, right? But when I tried looking, and now being in the field, there's a lot of career paths that you can take in IT, right? So how did I ended up here? So I started out as a IT staff, and then moved on to a software developer, and then transitioned on to DevOps, or developer operations. So DevOps is very exciting for me. Although I love programming during my college days, when I was moved to DevOps, it was such a fun thing for me. Deploying stuff, making sure the infrastructure is running. I don't know if you love that, but for me, I love it. So making sure that the infrastructure, the application is running 24/7. You get to talk to a lot of people. You get to make sure that developers, QAs, system administrators, they're all in the same page, right? And now I'm a solutions architect, and I'm specializing now in cybersecurity. So why did I decide to pursue cybersecurity? It started out during the pandemic. Well, when I was still in DevOps, one of the most task that really excites me is implementing security controls. So in my background, I used to work in small medium businesses, right? And in SMB, right, you wear multiple hats if you're a DevOps engineer. You do deployments, you also do you're also the security guy, You're also the networking guy, right? You do the release management. So you wear a lot of different hats. So among those hats, what I love the most is security. So we enter the pandemic, we're seeing a lot of increase in traction in cybersecurity because a lot of things are happening in that space. So I decided to take up cybersecurity, and ever since that, I love my my career path more. Yeah, so I think that's that answered this question. So what does your job consist of, and what about your work excites you? So most of the time, as a solutions architect here in AWS, so I talk to customers of AWS. So I act as a trusted advisor for them. I give them consultations. I do security reviews for them, making sure that their security posture is high on AWS, making sure they're secure, planning on prevention, how can they implement certain things in AWS. I do some enablement with them through workshops. We conduct workshops, especially for unblocking certain challenges for our customers. And then what excites me is I get to meet new people. I get to work with them. Every different company, there is no one company that's like the same, right? Every company has different problems, has a different way of tackling things, right? So even though AWS has the same number of or the same set of security services, you will be surprised as to how companies use the services differently. There's a lot of innovation that you can see, you can try to pursue and advocate for. So when it comes to progressing in a role, so what are the most important traits in a woman that you must develop? So for me, this is not just for women, right? So I'll maybe tie this up with the leadership principles that Amazon have. So number one is learn and be curious. So if you are in the IT industry, it's really a necessity for you to always upgrade yourself. You need to learn, and learn, right? You cannot stop learning because the IT, our industry where we're at, so we need to keep up. It's a fast-moving, fast-paced industry, so we need to make sure that we're always sharpening our saw, making sure that we're reading, stay up to date with the latest technology, because if not, we will be stagnant, and that's not healthy. Okay, so progressing in a role. Actually, in my first job, I've been in a company for almost 6 years. I did not regret it, but it was my comfort zone, right? I knew everyone. I knew the inside and outs of the company, of the application that I'm working on. It's very comfortable. But the one thing that I noticed in myself is that I'm not learning something new. I'm becoming stagnant, right? And I crave that learning because that's just who I am. Ever since I was still in school, so I just seek for something new. So even though with a heavy heart, I decided to leave the company, and ever since then, I moved from jobs to jobs. So I'm not saying that you do that also, right? But sometimes it helps if you look at different job opportunities or job boards, right, on what's on demand right now in the market, and making sure or gauging yourself whether you are on par with what the market is asking for, and as well as your skill set, right? So that really made me progress in where I am right now. So number one is learn and be curious, never stop learning. Because sometimes, diba, yung iba, once they get out of school, they thought they will never learn, or they will never study again for certifications. Certifications are like taking your final exam, right? So unfortunately, if you want to stay relevant and you want to stay competitive in the IT industry, specifically also in cybersecurity, you have to update your skill sets. Next is ownership, right? ownership and taking responsibility, taking ownership in projects, that's very important, right? Maybe not right off the bat, but when you start in a company, but as you progress in that company, as you stay longer in that company, it's important that you take ownership in certain projects because that's where you grow. Okay. Another thing is increase your solving problem skills, right? So example of that. So let's say you encounter a problem, right? So don't just stop thinking or challenge yourself, right? If let's say, for example, you have a team member who knows the answer to that question, right? And you encounter a problem. Before talking to that person or asking that person the answer, try to do it yourself, like do some researching, try to challenge your brain into thinking workarounds, how to implement it, right? Because that is very important right now, being resourceful, right? Because it's not always I mean, your team member is not always there. There would be some cases wherein you're just alone in a team and you need to solve some problems. So you need to build that muscle, that solving, problem solving skill, in order to progress well. Next is, I would say, resiliency. Resiliency. This can be double-edged sword, right? You can be resilient, stay on your job, kahit na gaano yan kahirap. Us Filipinos, we're very resilient. Even though we face a lot of challenges, we face a lot of problems, we still get through, we still go through it, we're still happy, right? But sometimes it's not good for you also. It's okay for you to be resilient until at some point, but if you think that you're not, like for me, I think I'm not growing anymore. My skill set is not growing anymore. I'm not learning something new, so I decided to leave the company. Right, so you need to have that strength, that courage also to step out of your comfort zone. Also, if you have any question, let us know in the chat box, right? So that we could talk about it. There's a question here about automation, like network programmability. Automation, like let's say, I'm not sure if you're familiar. I'm sure you're familiar with EC2 instances in AWS, S3 buckets, right? IAM policies or IAM users, right? So automation is where you, instead of you doing this in the console manually, like going to the AWS console, creating new users, attaching policies to those users, creating EC2 instances, attaching security groups, right? You need to automate those. Okay. Well, for starts, if you're just starting in the cloud, it's okay to do that manually, because for you to automate something, you have to know how it works manually, right? How can you automate something without you knowing how it works manually? Okay, so doing it manually, of course, is also crucial, but then as you progress, you need to start doing it in an automation way, because let's say, for example, something bad happens in your AWS account, things get lost, things got deleted, then you don't have any way of rebuilding it, right? Or if you have a lot of data already inside your AWS account, it's good that you have the redundancy or a way to set it up all over again, right? So that's when you do automation. And like in cybersecurity, right? If there are, we have different services, tools that you can use for detecting threats, right? Inside your environment, detecting risks, right? The challenge in cybersecurity right now is, yes, we have all of these amazing tools that can help you detect a lot of threats, a lot of vulnerabilities in your system. But what do we do with it, right? It's so easy to enable detection, but it's very hard to monitor them. It's very hard to take action. So that's what AWS is trying to solve with our security services. So we're trying to give customers actionable items, actionable findings, so that it will be easy for them to implement or to resolve those threats, those alerts that they are receiving. Okay, so how have you dealt with challenges throughout your career, and what would be your advice? So challenges, this is something that you can never avoid. If you're not being challenged in your current role, right, then you're never gonna grow your skill set. You're never gonna grow where you're currently at if you're not being challenged. So it's important to be challenged, and there's a lot of factors into challenges. It could be people challenge wherein you don't get along with your teammate, you don't get along with your company politics or whatsoever. It could be technical challenges. It could be a blocker to something that you're doing. It could be something that you need to think outside of the box. I would suggest that never say no. Like if you encounter a stumbling or an obstacle, right? Don't just settle for no. Think of ways on how you overcome that no into becoming a yes, or try to find like a middle ground, right? That could make you do it, even though if you don't, even though you wouldn't be able to comply like all of it, right? Next would be for me, challenge go with my career is even though I am eager to learn, having certifications need you to shell out some money, right? You're lucky right now because minsan may mga we have AWS sometimes give out yung mga discounts, right? Or sa AWS user group, if you're part of it, they give out like vouchers, they have study groups, right? But in my days before, it was not yet a thing. So it's very hard to juggle in both your day-to-day job and studying for a certification. And then if your company is not sponsoring certification, so it's hard because kailangan manggaling sa yung pera, right? You just need to have the dedication. If like what I've said, if you stumble upon an obstacle, like for me, when I was trying to learn the cloud, my company is not sponsoring certification. So even though it's hard for myself, I try to save up for my certification because I really, really want to get into cloud then. I really, really wanted to be a solutions architect. So I try to find ways. And then here I am, right? So it's not possible. You just have to be persistent. You have to know what you want, you want to have your goal and then start progressing through that goal. Okay. Like what I've said, if you have challenges in getting certification or the money, right, look for some programs, right? There are a lot of programs that AWS is launching, so maybe you can qualify for those programs, Yeah. So we have some questions in here. So can you give me examples like actionable items? So let's say, for example, you have a detection system, right? That detects that one of your security groups attached to your EC2 instance has port 22 open to the world, or has a 0.0.0.0 port open, right? So instead of you just alerting that, hey, you have a port open, right? Actionable items like you can change this security group, or you can remove this, or make sure that this resource does not have this type of port open. So something like that. So it gives you more clarity. It just doesn't say you that, hey, you're not compliant, but this is the reason why you're not compliant. And then you have certain steps like what can you do to make that compliant, right? So you have more clarity, you have more way of prioritizing your risks. And speaking of risk in cybersecurity, I really advocate for threat modeling. right? So maybe one of the sessions in the future, if you're interested in cybersecurity, is threat modeling. We have a lot of tools, services out there, not just in AWS, but also with different companies, different vendors, right? There's a lot of security products that you can search. And it's hard to start somewhere, right? Like if you first look at your application, like there's a lot of things going on that you can implement, right? You may want to set up WAF, you might want to set up layer 7 protection, IPS, IDS, code static analysis. There's just a lot of tools that will make you or improve your security posture, right? But do you actually need them, right? So that's one question that you need to ask when you are in that position. In cybersecurity, you don't also like the IT position itself, or the IT industry itself, it's not just a one job, right? In cybersecurity, it's not just one job, right? You have multiple jobs. You may start out as a support or a security support, security system engineer. Then you move your way up to becoming a DevSecOps. You can go that route. You can also be an IT compliance. So all of those are under the cybersecurity career, right? You can be an IT auditor. You can be something who does the policies, who manages the governance. So there's a lot of I would say jobs or positions under cybersecurity. So you have to also know what you like to do best, right, and where to go. So what are the basic skills and certifications to land in cybersecurity? There's basic skills. I would say you need to have problem solving skills. So that's one major thing. Monitoring, at least you have networking background, because I believe networking security is usually tied together. So you need to have basic understanding of what the different threats, what is malware, right? What is if it's networking, how does physical networking or physical security, how do you deal with that? Wireless networking and all those things. Certifications to land in cybersecurity, I would suggest CompTIA Security Plus. There's also a new one released by IS2, which is the Certified in Cybersecurity, or CEC. Before, I think 2 months ago or 3 months ago, nag-release sila ng free certification for the first 1 million registration. So I don't know if they reached the 1 million already, but if it's still open, so you can check that out. So it's for free. So they will give you the resources as well. So I think that's the good place to start. So IC2 Certified in Cybersecurity, CompTIA Security Plus. So most of the time yung CompTIA Security Plus, it's recognized everywhere. Okay. Would you recommend cybersecurity? Why? Yes, I would recommend cybersecurity because it's never going away, right? So even though before, I would say developers is mobile, well, they're still in demand right now, but let's say that like right now, right, there's demand in AI, machine learning. Now we're moving to there's blockchain, distributed ledger, there's all of this technology coming in, right? But you will need security, even if you're operating in different industry. Let's say, for example, you're working for a e-commerce site, or you're working in a manufacturing, you're working in banking, insurance industry, right? Your company is in that industry. The common, I would say the common job or the common thing about it is that they will all need security, okay? You can never skip that, especially if you're in the banking industry, BFSI, security is a big thing. It's never going away, Okay, so yeah, so it's there. It's forever going to be in demand. I think there's a lot of things, or there's a large skill gap right now that we're seeing in cybersecurity. There's a lot of open for cybersecurity, and I think we need to increase that awareness, or that education, right? We need more students in cybersecurity.
Yes,
We also have
definitely.
question. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Miss Damsel. You can, I believe you can choose your last question before you proceed with your presentation.
Okay. I think actually that's the last part of my presentation. So can you just choose or read this one? What knowledge was the most helpful as a solutions architect, cybersecurity specialist in AWS? How much of coding knowledge will be required? Okay, for me, the most helpful is actually my background helped me a lot. Right, because the trend that we're now seeing in security is trying to shift left, meaning we're trying to embed security now in the development phase rather than in the production. Before, the trend was you will just involve security when you're already for production, but now as early as development, you need to embed security. So you need to know how the development life cycle is going on, what is the infrastructure looks like. So yeah, me being a developer help because I can understand well, I can do coding like Python, right? You can do scripting is also can be a part of cybersecurity because again we're moving to automation. um Next is my DevOps skills, right? It really helped me because I gain an understanding on infrastructure, and in cybersecurity, it's very vital for you to know what you are going to protect. So you need to have an idea on what are the infrastructure, like what is EC2. If you're using Kubernetes, you're using pods, you need to know what it is, how to protect it, right? Because how can you protect something that you don't know anything about? Right, so that's very important. It doesn't mean that you need to know like level 300 or really deep dive into that specific topic, but at least you know how it works at very high level, and how to protect it. Okay, so like for us in AWS, for almost majority of our services, there is this in our documentation, there is a part there for security, and it tells you how you protect this service, what you need to keep in mind, yeah, something like that. So how much coding knowledge will be required? Right off the bat, it's not required, but it's desirable because especially now that people are trying to move to automation, at least you know some scripting. Security, they deal also a lot with servers, because like if you're going to do forensics or something with a server, you need to know bash at least. If you're working on Linux, you need to know at least the bash scripting, right? So that you could write some scripts. Python, I think, is very flexible because Python is not just being used for scripting, but you can also use it for AIML, can also use it for programming. So I think Python is a good programming language to learn if you're still starting out. Okay, so for my last slide, so it's just an invitation for you to join. So I think 2 months ago, we launched the AWS Security Users Group. So it's actually a community and a group of people who are security enthusiasts. So this is regardless of what your level of knowledge in AWS and security. As long as you have an interest in security, you are welcome to come by. So we do our meetups here in the AWS office. And we have, of course, food, and then we talk about cybersecurity topics or anything related to security. Okay, so if you're interested to network, to learn about security from different levels, so feel free to join this circle. Okay, so if there are no more questions, back to you, Atcha.
All right. Thank you, Miss Damsel. All throughout your presentation, I was speechless. It was really inspiring, and you definitely gave us a lot of tips. And I also agree on how we students because most of us are students right now. And I definitely agree. I also experienced in college. I just graduated this year, and I also don't have a my bachelor's degree. I don't have a major in. So I also it's the same with you with computer science, and we are only given like the surface level of topics like. And when I started, I was given the opportunity to start working early in the industry, even if I was still in college, because that's definitely true. It's definitely a skill for you to break into the tech industry if you're really thirsty for knowledge. And if you're that type of student in tech or someone who's interested to have a career in technology, is you don't have to know what you want right away. Because that's also one of the most questions right now is, should I pursue cybersecurity? Because we all know that cybersecurity is one of the in-demand careers, but it doesn't mean that you need to be in there as well. It takes passion, a lot of determination to be able to break your way into that industry. And Miss Damselle is one of our proof that it's possible to break into that industry, especially as a woman in technology. So I hope you guys have took note of what we learned today. Thank you so much, Miss Damselle, for your time. And everyone, we look forward to seeing you again on our next episodes. Before we proceed with the next part of our program, I encourage everyone to please open their cameras for a photo opportunity with our speaker. All right. So since we've been having our virtual events, hopefully in the future we can have our face-to-face meetup with our speaker. All right. Hi, everyone. Okay. So let's just put this in gallery view. All right. So everyone put in your best smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Ayan, wait. Let's wait for other people. They're still opening their cameras. Okay. All right. In the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, smile. All right. Thank you guys for opening your cameras and showing yourselves. And again, guys, that wraps up our fourth episode of the Siklab Igniter series. Today, we learned about cybersecurity as a woman in tech. Again, thank you so much, Miss Damselle. And again, guys, don't forget to join the AWS Security Users Group Philippines via Meetup. I have put the link there, and also the link to join our community. So thank you, everyone. And if you would like to receive an e-certificate, the feedback link will be sent shortly. There you can also scan the QR code there. And to get more free events and notifications, you can follow me on my Facebook page here. We're now live on Facebook, Atcha Abe, and I'm also on YouTube. Sharing the next slide, please. I also do tech content. If you want to learn more about computer science, information security, networking, database, you can check that out. It's beginner friendly. And I also do non-tech tutorials. I also do speaking engagements. So, yep. And you can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And the next part is we have a lot of upcoming events. Again, don't forget to answer our feedback form here. Let us know how we did today and your feedback for our speaker. We would highly appreciate that. So you can also receive your e-certificate. Expect your e-certificate to arrive 7 to 10 business days. So make sure to check your inbox or spam email after that. So up next, we will be having another free event shortly after this one at 6 o'clock p.m. We would be having our event in partnership with CodeGo. We will be learning about Go serverless with AWS Lambda. Our speaker is a full stack software engineer. His name is Brian Albert Fasay. You can join us via Zoom. And we also have the registration in our AWS Siklab Pilipinas Facebook page. And next event is, all right, I will be having an event at Eastern Visayas State University, Caraga campus. I'll be teaching about networking. I would be in the afternoon session. This is on November 28th via Google Meet. And I also have other speakers to share their knowledge and expertise with us as well. This is for free and everyone is invited. All right, next event is We will be having our 67th episode of the Community Ignite series. We will be learning about Introduction to Big Data and Analytics. That is next Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. And our speaker is a data platform engineer from Aboitiz Data Innovation. He is Cal Escocia. So make sure to check that out as well. And for the rest of the month, this is our calendar of events from AWS Siklab Pilipinas. There you go. We would be having an upcoming event on November 25 in partnership with Mozilla Philippines to learn about the best practices for WordPress site on AWS. And also in partnership with Angular Philippines, we will be learning about Angular and AWS. The title is still yet to be announced, so stay tuned on that. We will be having a deep event with them. And of course, more events to come before we end the year. So don't miss out on these free events. Share these opportunities with your friends, and I hope to see you on the next one. And that ends our Siklab Igniter series episode. Again, my name is Atcha Abe, your host. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you again soon. Bye, guys.
You've earned an AWS certification. Congratulations. Now what? Show your employer, colleagues, and your customers that you've met the bar set by AWS experts. Add your digital badge to your professional profiles and email signature to highlight your skills. Share it on your social feeds to celebrate with your network. And offer verification via email or on your resume. Cloud skills are in demand, and you have them. Share your AWS certified achievement today.